Russian flights to Egypt remain suspended 5 months on from the Sinai bombing. Cairo is hoping flights will resume shortly, but officials in Moscow are still not convinced about security measures. CCTV's Daria Bonchakuk has more.
Well, despite recent statements from top Russian officials that flights may resume shortly, Moscow, it seems, is not ready to proceed. And of course, there have been fresh security concerns following the attacks in Brussels this week. On Wednesday, Deputy Prime Minister Olga Golodets said that Moscow is not ready yet to resume flights to Egyptian resorts. Russian Transport Ministry wants to send its experts to evaluate upgraded security that Cairo has promised. It is also waiting for confirmation from the Egyptian authorities that additional measures, in particular additional security equipment, has been installed at airports serving tourist destinations. And local tourist industry and experts of security say that Moscow also wants assurances from Cairo that it has revised its security procedures and standards, and that it has taken additional steps to safeguard Russian visitors, not only at airports, but also at hotels and popular tourist locations. Daria Bondarchuk, CCTV, Moscow.
To get more on this story, I'm now joined live by Yasser Hakim. He's standing by for us in Sharm el-Sheikh. Yasser, Moscow still says it is not confident with the security measures in place. Have they proposed, though, to the Egyptian government how they want security matters handled before flights can resume?
Well, the Egyptian government says it has been upgrading its security measures in the Egyptian airports throughout the last few months. It has been working with security teams that have been coming from several European countries, especially countries that export the most tourists to Egypt, such as Russia, Britain, the UK, France, Germany, and Italy. Those in particular have been constantly sending security teams to oversee the upgrade of security in Egyptian airports. Egypt also announced that it has signed a contract with an international security firm that will place new measures and oversee the overhaul of the Egyptian airports to be up to the international standards. But one thing that has been said in the papers recently, and sources have been saying, that the Russians want to have a permanent security team inside the Egyptian airports to monitor the security measures, especially with the incoming tourists when they come back from Russia. We understand the Egyptian government has refused to comment to the media concerning this kind of information. It only said that it's doing its best to upgrade the security measures, and that it is also purchasing the latest equipment in this regard that will arrive to the Egyptian ports very soon.
Well, yes, security in Egypt has improved somewhat, and President el-Sisi reshuffled his government Wednesday, replacing 9 ministers. Were any changes made to the ministry or ministries responsible for the security of the country?
Not really, because what the Egyptians or Egyptian government is saying, and the leaders here are saying, that yes, there has been shortcomings in the security measures in the Egyptian airports, but it's not to the extent that he would sack the Minister of Defense or Minister of Interior, because the development of the terrorism in the world has been quite fast, and they are using the latest equipment, they're using the latest technology, and it's more of how to keep up with the terrorists at this point, and giving the example that the highly secure Europe has witnessed, Belgium and before in Paris and France have witnessed a lot of bombings and terrorist attacks. So it's not really about only changing personnel, but actually changing, maybe upgrading the system. In the reshuffle of the cabinet, he did change the Minister of Tourism. We understand that he was changed because he was not good enough in the way he reacted to the events after the attack, especially in marketing the Egyptian point of view in dealing with the crisis, and also in putting forth the proper policies to sustain the tourism industry against the latest crisis. So the security measures the security ministers were not changed, but the tourism minister was the one who was sacked in the last reshuffle and replaced by a new minister of tourism.
Right, Yasser Hakim for us there in Sharm el Sheikh.